Hey, boys and girls, happy Wednesday. Decided I'm going to stand today, and teach you a little bit this morning. Today, we're going to talk about another way to put our story in order with summarizing. Maybe you've heard of that word before. Summarizing is just telling the story, telling what happens in a story in order, okay? And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to post a little short link, a little video about summarizing, just so you can kind of get the idea of it, okay? I have a book I'm going to read to you today. Can you tell I really like books? I really like to read, you guys. I love books and fun stories. So I have another good one. Maybe you've heard this one before. Miss Nelson is back. One Friday, Miss Nelson told her class that she was going to have her tonsils out. I'll be away next week, she said, and I expect you to behave. Yes, Miss Nelson, said the kids in 207. But at recess, it was another story. Wow, said the kids, while Miss Nelson is away, we can really act up. Not so fast, said a big kid from 309. Have you ever heard of Viola Swamp? Who? Said Miss Nelson's kids. Miss Swamp is the meanest substitute in the whole world, said the big kid. Nobody acts up when she's around. Ooh, said Miss Nelson's kids. She's a real witch, said the big kid. Ooh, said Miss Nelson's kids. I'll just bet you get the swamp, said the big kid. On Monday morning, Miss Nelson's kids were all in their seats. They were very nervous. Some of them had not slept well all weekend. If we get the swamp, I'll just die, said one kid. They heard footsteps in the hall. Slowly the knob turned and the door opened. It was Mr. Bladsworth, the principal. I shall personally take over this class, he said. Miss Nelson's kids were so relieved. But they soon learned Mr. Bladsworth was not a lot of fun. All morning, Mr. Bladsworth tried to amuse the class with his corny card tricks. Oh, brother, said the class. That afternoon, Mr. Bladsworth showed the class his favorite shadow pictures. This is kid stuff, said the class. The next day, Mr. Bladsworth demonstrated his favorite bird calls. They were not a success. And for 2 days, Mr. Bladsworth showed slides of his goldfish, Lucille. Miss Nelson's kids have never been so bored. While dusting erasers in the schoolyard, 3 of the ringleaders in 207 discussed the situation. Something will have to be done, they said. We must get rid of Bladsworth. And they hatched a plot. Now, we've not talked about plot, but a plot is what's going to happen in the story. So they've launched a plot. After school, they painted and sewed and borrowed some old clothes. And they practiced some very difficult stunt work in the backyard. The next day, they weren't in class. That's too bad, said Mr. Bladsworth. They'll miss all the excitement. Mr. Bladsworth was about to show the class his collection of ballpoint pens from all over the world when someone came to the door. Slowly the knob turned and the door opened. Oh, look, said the class. Miss Nelson is back. Mr. Bladsworth was surprised. You're back sooner than expected, he said. The tall and lumpy Miss Nelson didn't speak. Said the kids, her throat must still be sore. Are you sure you're well enough? Said Mr. Bladsworth. She's sure, said the kids. Well, in that case, said the principal, I'll be getting back to the office. Nice to have you back, Miss Nelson. And he left the room. Hot dog, cried the class. We got rid of Bladsworth. Now we can do just as we please. And at the stroke of 10, the kids from 207 left the building. No one stopped them. They went straight to the movies where they saw the monster that ate Chicago twice. This is really living, they said. Afterward, they went to Lulu's where they stuffed themselves silly, but soon they made a serious mistake. Heading back to school, they passed Miss Nelson's house. Miss Nelson couldn't believe her eyes. "Those are my kids," she said in a scratchy voice. "What are they doing out of school? And who is that with them?" Miss Nelson telephoned Mr. Bladsworth to see what was going on. "You're not Miss Nelson," said Bladsworth. "Miss Nelson is back." And he hung up. "Can't fool me," he said. Said Miss Nelson. "Something will have to be done." And she went to her closet. Back in 207, Miss Nelson's kids were spending an agreeable afternoon. They were very pleased with themselves. "We should do this more often," they said. They did not notice the figure out in the hall. Slowly the knob turned and the door opened. "My name is Viola Swamp," said the lady in a scratchy voice. "Yipes!" cried the kids. "The swamp!" "That's right," said the swamp, "and I'm here to whip this class into shape. Get back to those desks on the double." The class did as it was told. The big kid from 309 was certainly right. Miss Swamp was a real witch. She knew how to get results. The class did a whole week's worth in no time. Whole week's worth of work in no time. "We shouldn't have gotten rid of Bladsworth," they said. "Pipe down," said the swamp, or just then something under her desk attracted her attention. It was a mask. "Aha," said Miss Swamp. "So this is your little game." And she tried on the mask just as Mr. Bladsworth stepped into the room. "Miss Nelson," said Mr. Bladsworth, I'm of the opinion that someone has been impersonating you." "Uh-oh," whispered the kids. "You don't say," said Mrs. Swamp. "Probably just some kids acting up. I'm sure it won't happen again." And Mr. Bladsworth left. "And it won't, will it?" said Mrs. Swamp to the class, "because the swamp will be watching." A minute later, Miss Nelson appeared. "I'm back," she said. "Hot dog," cried the kids. "Are we glad to see you? Didn't you have fun with Mr. Bladsworth?" asked Miss Nelson. Said the kids. They decided not to mention Miss Viola Swamp, but they wondered why Miss Nelson hadn't seen her in the hall. Are you getting an idea of who Mrs. Swamp was? Okay, now your assignment is to reread the story. And who remembers why we reread? What was that fancy F word that I told you about yesterday? That fancy F word. I'm going to write it again on my whiteboard. Starts with an F-L. Who remembers? Fluency. And fluency is how you sound when you read. You're going to reread the story. The story in our book, Yoon and the Jade Bracelet. And then you're going to do slides 6 and 7. And today you're going to turn your slideshow in, okay? You're going to finish your slideshow. This is what slide 6 looks like. We're going to work on vocabulary some more with these same words from our story. Okay, these at the top are the same that we've been working on. You can match the word with what it means. We've been practicing celebrate. Celebrate is to honor a special day or event. So I'm going to mark off A, put it over here, and then do the rest of them. Then you're going to read these sentences, and you're going to put these words in these sentences. We'll look at number 1. It says, complete each sentence with the appropriate vocabulary word. Use the words from the box above, and be sure to write the entire word, not just the letter. So Jamie and her family liked to blank the 4th of July together. They like to celebrate. So you're going to type celebrate right here. All right? And then you're going to finish the rest of these with our vocabulary words from this week. Okay? Then you are going to summarize the story. And this is another way we can put the story in order. All right? Someone wanted, but so. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we would use this with Miss Nelson is back and then we'll do it with Yoon and the jade bracelet. I think summarizing is kind of hard. Okay? First, let's think about Miss Nelson is back. Okay, let's summarize Miss Nelson is back. Someone, let's think. What's happening in this story? Miss Nelson had to have surgery. Wanted, so she needed a sub, right? She needed a substitute teacher. But Bladsworth, or you could put, that's kind of hard to spell. Let me look at my book. Bladsworth was boring, so they came up with a plan to get rid of him. So, Miss Nelson came to school as mean. Looking back in my book. Let's see. I'm looking back in my book to try to see what was her name. Miss Swamp. Mean Miss Swamp to teach them a lesson. Okay, so this is another way to put the story in order, sequencing. Okay, this is what happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. So this is another way to put the story in order. Now, I'm going to read Yoon and the Jade Bracelet to you. We can read it together. And okay, boys and girls, I feel like that's kind of hard. I feel like this is kind of hard to do with this story, so I'd like to do it together. Okay? So let's read this story. And we'll do that together, okay? Yoon and the Jade Bracelet. My name is Yoon. I came here from Korea, a country far away. Soon after we settled in America, it was time to celebrate my birthday. I was hoping for a very special present, a jump rope. I watched the girls in my schoolyard turning such a rope and jumping and singing happy songs. I wanted so much to jump and sing with them, but I was still the new girl. I had not been invited yet. On my birthday, my mother called to me, "Little Yoon, come, I have a present for you." I clapped my hands and ran to her. She handed me something thin and flat, wrapped in pretty paper. "Happy birthday," she said. Jump ropes are not thin and flat, I thought. I tried not to show my disappointment. "Thank you, Mother," I said, smiling. My mother watched excitedly as I opened the present. It was a Korean storybook about a little girl who was tricked by a tiger. I knew the story, and I laughed at the silly girl. The pictures are colorful, I said. "Yes, they remind me of pictures that you draw, Yoon." I liked the book, but my heart still longed for a jump rope. "And here is another surprise," my mother said, and she handed me a lovely box. Inside was a pale green bracelet. I held its cool smoothness in my hand. "A jade bracelet, Yoon," my mother said. "When I was a young girl, my own mother gave me this very bracelet. Now I am giving it to you." "It is a wonderful present," I said. It was so wonderful, I felt afraid to take it from her. "Look, Yoon," she said. "Here is your Korean name now etched inside." She showed me the dancing symbols that meant shining wisdom. Then she told me the story of jade. Jade is a stone from the earth, but it is called the gem of the heavens Green is the color of happiness and hope, and it is said that wearing jade will bring you good luck. It is the symbol of truth and friendship, a precious gem for a precious daughter. My mother slipped the bracelet onto my wrist. At lunchtime the next day at school, I sat at the end of the table. An older girl from another class sat down beside me. "Oh, look," she said, "you are wearing such a pretty bracelet." "Thank you," I said. "You are alone today. I will be your friend. Would you like to play jump rope with me?" the older girl asked. "Jump rope? Yes, yes," I said. "Good. I will teach you. We will have fun." "Yes," I said, smiling at my new friend. Jump rope. After lunch, we ran outside to play a while. The older girl tied one end of my rope to the fence. Then she gave the other end to turn, turn. She jumped and sang while I turned faster, slower, faster. I turned and turned. My arm grew tired. I had learned the rope part very well, but I really wanted to learn the jump part. "When will I jump?" I asked. "Tomorrow," the older girl said. The bell rang. It was time to go inside, and she took the rope from me. "I really like your bracelet," she said. "In America, friends share things. If we are going to be friends, you should share your bracelet with me. You should let me wear it just for today." My birthday bracelet? Oh, no, no, I could not share that. My mother's own mother had given it to her, and now it was mine. No, no, I shook my head. "Well, then how can we be friends?" the older girl asked. "I thought you wanted to learn how to jump rope." I slipped the jade bracelet off and held it in my hand. My mother said it would bring me good luck and good friends, but sharing it did not seem right. Quickly, the older girl grabbed the bracelet from me and twisted it on her own wrist. "Do not worry," she said. "I will give it back tomorrow." When I got home from school, I went straight to my room. My mother came in to check on me. As I sat on my bed reading my new Korean storybook, she reached for my arm and gasped, "Where's your bracelet, Yoon?" I shrugged with shame, not trusting myself to speak. "Oh, I see your sad face. Did you lose it at school, Yoon?" I shrugged again. "Maybe it rolled away and is hiding somewhere here," she said with teary eyes, and she kneeled to look under my bed. "Mother," I said, tugging her sleeve, "I left it at school. I will get it tomorrow." The next morning, I waited in the schoolyard for the older girl. She was still wearing the jade bracelet. It is time to give back my bracelet," I said. "I will give it to you later," she said, rushing past me. All morning, my heart was heavy with worry. I could not remember how to spell cat or how to add 2 plus 2. After lunch, when the children ran outside, I found the older girl again. "You have my bracelet and I want it back," I said. "Stop bothering me. Don't be a pest." She pushed me away and laughed. I was just like the silly girl in my storybook. I had been tricked by a tiger. Back in class, I laid my head on my desk. "What is wrong, Yoon?" my teacher asked. I told my teacher about the older girl, and she sent for her. "Do you have something that belongs to Yoon?" my teacher asked her. "Is that her bracelet you are wearing?" "Oh, no," the older girl said with her trickster tongue. "It is mine." "No, it is my birthday bracelet," I said. The children in my class gathered around us. "Yoon was wearing it yesterday," the ponytail girl said. "Yes," said the freckle boy. "I saw it too." "Can you tell me something about this bracelet, Yoon?" my teacher asked. "My mother gave it to me," I answered, looking into the tiger girl's face. "This bracelet is a symbol of kindness and courage. It is a symbol of jade friendship, true friendship." "Now you tell me about this bracelet," my teacher said to the older girl. "Well, it is smooth and green," she answered in a sure voice. I worried I would never get my bracelet back. I did not feel like shining wisdom. My mother should have named me Shining Fool instead. Then I had a very good idea. I whispered something in my teacher's ear. "So tell me about the inside of this bracelet," she asked the older girl. "Well, it is smooth and green," she repeated. The teacher told her to take it off, and the girl struggled to get it over her hand. My teacher looked inside and saw the dancing Korean symbols. Do you know what this says? She asked the girl. No, the older girl said. Well, I thought it was my bracelet. I used to have one like it. Maybe this one does belong to Yoon. My teacher's eyes said, older girl, you are in trouble. Then my teacher slid the jade bracelet easily over my hand. Here is your name bracelet, Shining Wisdom, and it fit perfectly. My mother saw the bracelet on my wrist after school. She clapped her hands. Aha! It was at school. Mother, I asked, does wearing jade make wishes come true? Yes, she said. It is known to happen. She smiled. And what are your wishes? So I told her about my jump rope wish and my wish for true friends. And I told her a story about a wise girl who tricked a tiger. Told her about the wise girl who tricked a tiger. Who's the wise girl? What wise girl is she talking about? And who's the tiger? The wise girl who tricked a tiger. I love that story. Okay, so let's talk about this with Yoon and the jade bracelet. So someone is Yoon. Yoon wanted a jump rope, but she wanted a jump rope, I forgot, and true friends, but she got a jade bracelet and a not so true friend. So she tricked the girl to get her bracelet back. She was very wise. So boys and girls, what I wanted to show you is you don't have to have complete sentences in each one of these boxes like I did for Miss Nelson. Okay, I wanted to show you guys that. This is what I want yours to look like today for our story. I want you to reread the story, work on your fluency, and then you are going to fill this out. Yoon wanted a jump rope and true friends, but she got a jade bracelet and a not so true friend, so she tricked the girl to get her bracelet back. This is a summary of the story. This is a summary, and it puts the story in order.